I'm going to be reading the term glossary to you guys. Mind you, not everything is in order, but everything is there. So anything you need to know about what I'm going to be talking about in other videos is going to be in here. So there are terms here. There are weapon explanations, better weapon explanations than I gave before. And with all those weapons explanations and demonstrations, I might not even be using those weapons. Hell, I might not even be using half of those weapons. But I know 3 weapons I am going to be using, and I will name them off while I'm reading the glossary to you guys. Like I said, not in order. Bear with it, please. And this, I can guarantee this might not be a waste of your time. Wait, and it's not a guarantee, is it? You decide, okay? Leave it up to you guys. Okay, so I'm going to begin with a code warp. The code warp is the ability that Flare-Ites use to quickly get from one place to another, seemingly via teleportation. This ability can also be used by a Farron, but can only be used to a distance totaling of 200 million miles. Sorry, guys. This distance can increase with the amount of energy you have. The energy, by the way, I'm referring to as Universal Code and Ultima Code. I'll explain those later on in the glossary. So if you don't understand anything of what I'm saying right now, trust me, it's all in here. Like I said, it's just out of order. Okay, this distance can increase with the amount of energy you have. Imperial Islo had this ability, only much more limited at 500 miles. Using most of your distance within 36 Earth hours will cause exhaustion. It also recovers gradually within 36 Earth hours. The reason that it causes exhaustion is that the teleportation is an illusion. It is simply the user moving at the speed of light. If I said anything similar about the first videos, I lied. Do not listen to those people the same me. Don't listen to me on that video. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you guys Islo. Now, Islo are the defenders of a system, part of the organization of power, divided into 2 parties, Imperial and Frontline. Okay, so Imperial Islo, first responders to terror attacks within their system. They withhold a somewhat significant portion of a sliver of Universal Code. There are only 2 Imperial Islo in each system, specially trained individually. This rank is usually passed down by blood, but if not possible, can be hired amongst a high-ranking Frontline Islo. Frontline Islo can only defend a planet, by the way. They don't battle in space like the Imperial Islo do, so no epic space battles for them, unfortunately. Now, Frontline Islo, an army or militia residing on a planet within a system. They're regular Sierra with special training. Oh, by the way, Sierra are they're basically humans in the galaxy per just a different way of saying it. Okay. They're regular Sierra with special training from Imperial Islo, and voluntarily formed to help protect their planet. They're divided in 3 classes. Class 3 is a standard soldier. Class 2 is a regiment general. Class 1 is an army general. So Imperial Islo are nicknamed Class 0 because they strategize much of the attack and defense plan. So, there you go. That answers most of it. Okay, Farron. They basically lead the system. Each one contain a significant portion of Universal Code and rule over a system. Basically, whatever Universal Code isn't given to the Imperial Islo are given to the Farron to keep. So they hold most of the power. Their primary duty is to protect the system from dangerous outside forces should they ever form an attack. Okay, this is going to be lengthy, and hell, it might not even be within one video. Flare-Ite. Okay. Created from the transformation of one Flare Ultima, which will be explained later, to billions of smaller miniature forms. They are sub-gods sent with fragments of the Ultimaverse that exploded after the 7 Flare Ultima awoke from the Great Slumber and transferred an overwhelming amount of pressure to it. The shards that they had were called Ultima Code, the plans for creating the new universe. After creating planets, they created single-celled organisms out of the Ultima Code and let them evolve. Now they balance life and keep the sphere from ruling over one another unfairly. This has been changed. To be honest, there's just a tad bit of confusion within what I'm going to do with playwrights. Okay. At the same time, they protect the Ultima Code shard residing within the planet that they created. Okay. I was wrong. This one's even longer. In fact, this takes up 1.5 pages. Okay. Flare Ultima. Within this description, it's going to tell you guys how the universe was formed. It's similar to the first, the first two videos, what I said there. A little different. And quite a bit more in-depth. The 7 masked elf-like gods who designed the universe and shall continue to do so. They are the center of a paradox. This paradox's logic is as follows. Creation is a logical fallacy. Something cannot be created from nothing. Something was and will always be something. Flare Ultima are reformed from Flarites right before the design reaches a cataclysm. The design is basically the universe. It's just something that happens over and over. Eventually, a supernova will destroy the design, and the universe will be a void made up by black holes consuming everything, including other black holes, and the 7 Flarites, or Flare Ultima, excuse me. While inside of the black hole, the 7 Flare Ultima begin orbiting in a circle. They harness the negative power of the black hole and convert it into a physical energy source called the Ultimaverse. This process takes 85 trillion Earth years and is known as the Great Slumber. After 85 trillion Earth years pass, the Flare Ultima will have converted all of the black hole's negative destructive energy into a physical creation tool for life and planets. This includes all elements too. The Ultimaverse is a spherical planet-looking object that radiates emerald green light due to the active energy within it. At this point, the Flare Ultima reach toward it in unison and transfer an immense amount of force to it. This causes the Ultimaverse to explode and release the pressure. The 7 Flare Ultima divide themselves into smaller beings known as Flarites and let the explosion scatter them about the nothingness. Each carry a shard from the explosion. They create the stars as well. Okay. And begin to create planets. Okay, the Ultimaverse. The ultimate creation tool, formed by converting the negative destructive energy of the black hole to a physical power source. It is a large number in miles. God, what the fuck did I write? Excuse my language. I think that's... Oh, yeah, okay. It's 900 trillion miles in circumference and radiates emerald green light due to its active energy. The Ultimaverse has only 2 layers. Ultima Code, used for designing the universe. Universal Code, the core made up of concentrated residue from the Ultima Code. It is scattered randomly throughout the universe. If one is absorbed by a seer, they receive godlike power and abilities. They are in no way all-powerful, because they can still be killed. I mean, sure, they're stronger, they can take more hits, than the average person. You probably couldn't punch them out. I mean, they kind of have to be killed by someone who also obtains power. They're not just invincible. I felt that would be unfair if I made it like that. Within the organization of power, Universal Code is divided in a manner that Imperial Islo get 1/8 of it each. This is 1/8 of a sliver, you guys. Keep in mind. Basically, the rest of the 3/4 go to the Farron. This power can be passed down by blood or taken by force. If a Farron is to recollect it, the carrier must be killed. This has not been changed, except the fact that a Farron can lend some to an Imperial Islo, who in turn can give what was given to him back. How does that work? Well, some questions are going to have to go unanswered, unfortunately, and I don't like having to do that. Ultimate code can be lent to an Imperial Islo if needed to stop, or if needed to stop an evil force. And even then, they have to prove themselves by battling it out. In order to receive it, they must go through 10 trials. This involves defeating a Planet Guardian. Oh, I never added the Planet Guardian. Well, the Planet Guardian is just another form of the Flarite. They take the form of a Sierra with, you know, that has the skills that an Imperial Islo should have. They have to prove themselves better, or else they're not, you know, they're not responsible enough to hold the power. Makes sense, right? All right. Okay. If one, the Imperial Islo receives a sliver of the Ultimate Code. 10 slivers equal a shard. 1 shard of Ultimate Code is the equivalent of 1 sliver of Universal Code. After the threat is eliminated, the Ultimate Code is returned to the Ultimate Code returns itself to the planet. This has not been changed, and it is also the basis for one of the things I have in here called a Oryulia. A Planet Guardian may up their strength depending on how much power the Imperial Islo has at the time. Let's say they have 2 slivers of Ultimate Code. Then, basically, the Flarite will fight as if they had 2 slivers of Ultimate Code. Either way, they gain more fighting experience each time. I'll explain to you guys time-lapse in an extra video. I feel like it'd be pointless for me to explain it to you. I made a time-lapse where a friend said, or he gave me a brief explanation of what it was, so I built onto it, and I made something. Yeah. Here's an explanation of a weapon. A better explanation of Kasparov's Lunar Blade. The Lunar Blade is a crescent-shaped sword with 2 handles spaced 1/4 of the blade's length on the inner portion of the crescent. Mind you, me standing up about 6 feet tall, that's about the length of the blade. Okay. For ranged attacks, this weapon has the ability to be thrown like a boomerang. It's pretty damn awesome. Now, I'm going to explain to you guys. Universal Code Special Attacks. These are attacks that use up energy according to how strong the attack is, how many times you use it, so on and so forth. These attacks are generated by either Ultima or Universal Code. They have 3 base levels of extremity: weak, moderate, and ultimate. Each level requires a certain amount of energy. If that amount of energy is not available, the attack simply cannot be used. For Imperial Islo, weak attacks can almost be used infinitely, as it exhausts less than 1% of the energy. Actually, a fraction of the percent of the energy. So anyone of higher power can use that even more, if they really wanted to. Moderate attacks can be used quite a bit, but are definitely not infinite when it comes to Imperial Islo. With a standard amount of Universal Code contained by an Imperial Islo, it does not allow for ultimate attacks. They do not withhold enough energy for ultimate attacks. But with more power allows for more energy, which gives for more usage of abilities, and eventually a new ability, ultimate. Even with a higher range of power, their special attack usage may still be low when taking into consideration other abilities that are based on energy. Weak attacks when landed inflict minor damage. Moderate attacks are stronger and inflict moderate damage. Duh. Ultimate attacks exhaust most of the energy contained. After use, it is possible that the user may go into complete exhaustion unless more power is available. A veteran may use this move twice, and be left with a hefty remainder of their energy to use other moderate and weak attacks. Ultimate attacks cause rapturous damage and can usually cause irreparable damage to a planet, if not stopped. Keep this in mind. A Flarite may be partial god, but it's still not enough to stop an asteroid. It's enough to survive an asteroid, not enough to actually stop it, though. So they need help here and there. So, I mentioned asteroid because that's kind of it's part of the end. An asteroid is sent at Chloe, which is the main planet in the system of Stratane. Okay. There. Okay. Now let's go back and continue with Kasparov's Lunar Blade. His Universal Code Special Attack, or his weak Universal Code Special Attack, is called Crescent Ray. 3 small crescent-shaped energy beams are generated out of the blade and sent to a direct location at a moderate low speed to inflict minor damage, or cause a nuisance to the enemy if landed. This attack can act as a great distraction in battle. Moderate. Lunar Harvest. 1 energy crescent, roughly half the size of the blade, is generated and begins to rotate at a high speed. At the command of Kasparov swinging the lunar blade, it is sent in the direction of the swing at a high speed to inflict moderate damage. This attack has the potential to split through a boulder, so it's pretty fucking strong. Okay. Ultimate. Lunar Cataclysm. Kasparov transfers his energy to the blade, which generates a significant amount of energy, forming a vague crescent shape. It is 150 miles from point to point and 70 miles across the middle in distance as a projectile. Upon impact of a planet or large debris, an explosive reaction can destroy it. Generally, the explosion from it destroys it. There's other stuff here, but it's not quite true. This attack must be used wisely. Alright. Moving on to the star side. I renamed the solar side. I'm gonna fix it on the other video too, so when I get to it, it'll be fixed. The star side. A long staff with a handle and 2 serrated circular blades at the end. This weapon's blades rotate when swung in opposite directions on an axle at the end of a 5-foot staff. Each blade is 18 inches in diameter. The weak Universal Code Special Attack for this weapon is called Ember Storm. Many large embers are generated from the star side and sent in a direction at Oryulia's will. They scatter around rapidly while moving at a high speed. The embers only stray about 10 feet away from the concentration/direction of the attack while scattering. As a result, it causes minor damage and is best to be used to reduce the enemy's visibility. Aside from an attack, Ember Storm can also be used to defend a small area of minor damage infliction. The embers exhaust completely after 5 seconds upon launch or activation. Moderate. Solar Inferno. A single blaze extends up to 50 feet from the staff at a moderate high speed. The effects of the attack linger for about 2 seconds. When landed, it causes moderate damage. If the opponent collides with the blaze before it fades away, it causes minor to moderate damage. This attack has the potential to burn acres of a forest in seconds. Serious stuff. Ultimate. Ultranova. True to its name, this attack results in a large destructive explosion, minus the implosion, of course. The weapon is needed to create a complete circuit, but most of the energy is expelled from Oryulia. The more universal or ultimate code, the more destructive this attack can be. With one sliver of universal code, the radius of this explosion can reach up to 300 miles from the source. Serious stuff. This next one is Bastion's weapon, or who will be known in the story as Valrai near the end. This is a pseudonym that was made up for him. You guys will get to that eventually. This is the Astral Bane, a double-edged greatsword. This blade is carved inward, making it useful for slashing. It also curves back out at the tip, so the top of the sword has more force behind it with each swing. The center is cut out from below the tip and down. It has a Y-framed handle. In this space, there are four evenly spaced blue-violet bars connecting horizontally to the inside of the blade. When in use by Bastion, these bars glow dim but shine brighter when using special attacks based on their extremity. The Universal Code special attack weak class for this is called Cosmic Wave. Small debris and particles nearby are concentrated into... Okay, had to make sure it's still going. Small debris and particles nearby are concentrated into a buffeting wave upon the swing of the blade. Moving at a moderate high speed, this attack is meant to briefly stun the opponent. Minor damage is received when landed. Moderate. Comet's Tail. The Astral Bane collects space particles and mixes with energy to make a powerful meteoroid. When used, it leaves a trail. Moderate damage upon impact. It moves at a moderate high speed. Ultimate. Astronomical Hell. An asteroid with a circumference of 400 miles is formulated much like Comet's Tail, but is infinitely more destructive. Being an asteroid, it can destroy all life on our planet upon collision. The size of all these things might have to be changed, unfortunately, and Final requests. I'm out of the weapons section, by the way. So, final requests. This is a tradition among Sira. Before they die, it's much like, you know, you're at the electric chair, you get to have your final meal. These are final requests. Right before they die, you know. True to the name, these are the last words. What they request is generally attainable, or it's a wish, and will remain as so. Here's a curiosity for you. The life cycle of a Raro lily. Raro lilies will be explained within this, but I feel like I have to explain the life cycle first. From a well-pollinated Raro lily, up to 3 seeds are sent flowing with the wind. Over time, they absorb sunlight and humidity from the air as well as rain, which dampens them, making the seeds heavier. Eventually, they sink to the ground. They sink toward the ground and begin to grow. The seed sprouts roots, which reach about a half mile under the crust of the planet. This process takes at least 6 months and at most 7 months. The point of that is to collect and concentrate nutrients, which of course contain ultimate code, since that's what's used to create the planet in the first place. So it's potent. As it collects the nutrients, the seed begins to sprout upward, reaching heights up to 6 inches. This allows the plant to live longer and to have a durable build. It is hard to pluck and is quite uncommon. Their lifespan can last up to 5 years. Here's the functionality of Aurora Lily. When successfully plucking Aurora Lily, energy is transferred to the beholder. This energy is controlled by the Aurora Lily, with the task of defending itself, giving the beholder a light barrier. Each time the beholder is hit, some of the energy, ultimate good, is expelled and sent back to the planet it grew on. The amount varies with the attack strength. Due to a lack of resource from the lily, it begins to wilt. When completely wilted, it is useless. So yeah, you keep one Aurora Lily with you, somewhere on you, and in turn it kind of creates a light barrier. Generally, it's wilted within 1 week. Universal Code special attack. Here's some things to note. A seer can lift another seer's weapon, unless the other seer happens to be an Imperial Islo or a Farron. Frontline Islo only assist in defending the planet that they live on. Chloe is the most life-abundant planet in the Stratane system. The Farron resides on the most life-abundant planet in their system. Dovaris is the most life-abundant planet in the Soviet system. Flare Ultima's memories are erased during the Great Slumber. Flarites are only partial gods. Flarites rarely intervene with life, except for that origin story. The origin story is still mostly correct, you guys. I'll get to that later. So that was the entire glossary. Thank you for sticking around with me to listen to all of this. I would be very happy if you guys would help out with this project. I could use people to bounce ideas off of. I would love to change the name. Change some names, like, think about it, there's too much code in this. Too much code. Too much code needs to be changed. Or I feel like it does. If you can think of an alternative that sounds pretty cool, send me a message, PM me, leave a comment in this video, and I'll get to you, and I'll talk to you in the video. So, thank you for viewing, you guys, and keep watch for the other videos.